Hello everybody, it's Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com, where we're on a mission to humanely source, maintain, and transport aquarium fish to our customers. Today I'm going to take you around, show you what it's like to be a fishmonger. So we're going to start by checking the health on some guppies. We're doing some tests, trying to make it so that we can get really nice, healthy guppies to our customers. And got to pull some fish and do some other stuff. So let's start with those guppies. So here's a tank of some female guppies. I'll show you the males in a minute. We have 4 tanks of guppies and we're running some tests in these. So these came in looking perfect, but we noticed that a couple days after they came in that some of them had some clamped fins, some of them were up at the surface, and those are signs that things aren't great. So what we did is in this tank, we tried some Icex. We put salt in all the tanks, that helps. And in this one, we tried some Icex. And as you can see, we still have quite a few of these guppies. It's 4 days into the Icex, and several of these guppies are still up at the top, and some of them, their fins are a little clamped, and on a few of them, if I look really closely, like these two, that are kind of, their tails are a little clamped and they're kind of shimmying a bit, that's never a good sign. I can actually see a little bit of like white spotting on the fins. It's not ick, but it's some kind of thing on the tail fin especially that I can see. Probably some kind of protozoan, I'm not quite sure what type. But anyway, so Icex is not working that well on these guys in this tank. Luckily, we have another tank that we've experimented where we have had good results. Let me show you that tank. Okay, now I haven't scrubbed the glass or anything like that. These fish are still in quarantine, so I tend to try not to get my hands in there. All of these female guppies are swimming around at all levels of the aquarium, or actively looking for food. No one's got clamped fins. I don't see any issues in here. Now there might be one or two that's still recovering a little bit from its trip to our warehouse here, but in general this tank's doing a lot better. This is a tank that we treated with flubendazole. So a little A/B test to see which would work better, Icex or flubendazole. And it looks like in this case, flubendazole works really well on these. So, you know, each supplier has different fish, and you have to figure out what helps that supplier's fish. Let me show you a couple other tanks. Okay, this is a tank of males, and in this one, typically they're swimming at all levels of the tank. They're actively looking for food. These look pretty good. Not perfect yet, but they've only been here a few days, right? They need to recover some more, but still looking pretty good. I have high hopes for all of these. I think these are going to be in good shape. So again, this is a tank we treated with flubendazole, and the results are, hey, the fish look like they're acting fairly normally and are eating and aren't just gasping at the surface. And so looks like flubendazole is working well. One more tank to show you of these. Okay, here's the last tank in our experiment. And if you look at this tank, you can see there's several up at the surface. They're doing okay, but not as good as the males in the other tank. So this, again, is one that was treated with Icex. So the 2 tanks with Fluben are doing much better than the 2 tanks with Icex. So that kind of tells us, okay, we kind of know how to get these fish healthy. We'll use flubendazole. We might use Icex too afterwards, but it seems like flubendazole is the medicine that works best for these. So what's that mean? It means maybe they've got some gill flukes or something like that. That's a medication that flubendazole treats. We did not see ick or anything like that. The only thing that I've seen besides, you know, you can tell when a fish isn't swimming quite like it should, isn't feeling quite like it should. But as far as actually seeing anything on the body, it's just those couple in that first tank I showed you, where some of them have some white stuff on the tail. Not a fungus, not a bacteria. It looks like little patches of protozoans. So that's the experiment we're running. Now we know that Fluben is the thing to use, so when we get fish from this supplier again, we'll just do that from the get-go and should be able to get them healthy really quickly. We have some other fish from that same breeder that are doing absolutely wonderfully. Let me show you those. Some really rare, hard to find stuff. So these are red wag swordtails. Nothing rare about that, but what is rare about these is these are the high fins. And these we haven't had any problems with. These seem to be doing fantastic. I really like these high fin red wag swordtails. They're doing well. All right, let's continue our health checks on the new fish for the day. These are some high fin red-eyed red female swordtails. The last ones we got, I thought were red-eyed red, and because that's just what they've always been. And then a customer was watching our video of them. They're like, those aren't red-eyed red. And I took a second look and I'm like, oh, you're right. Those have black eyes and a little bit of black on the sword, on the males, on the bottom of the sword. So these ones though these are the albino red-eyed reds, and they're doing great for us. So I just check them every day through the quarantine period, make sure we're eating well, make sure I don't see any cloudy eyes, make sure that the fins aren't all clamped up and no one's gasping at the surface, any of that stuff. So these guys are doing great. Here's the males that go with those red-eyed red females. And they look good. They're swimming like they should. They're browsing for food. So far, I'm not seeing any issues on these. Eyes look good. Fins look good. Great. Got some tuxedo wags in with the high fins. They look good. Some variation in the color. Some are more orange, some are more red. But everybody's eating well. Everybody's swimming normally. Everyone looks good. So anyway, that's kind of the start to my day. I've got a bunch of other fish to check, so I'm going to go around and continue to do health checks. And I'll check in with you later. Well, I found a surprise issue on my health check that I'm going to show you. So these are a beautiful, like, show quality, I think. Like, I mean, I don't know if you'd win a show with these, but really consistent, good, high fin platy. And if you notice, everyone's doing well, but we've got one up in the corner. Like, see that one up at the top, kind of surface skimming, not acting like the others? I mean, it's pretty. It seems like it's doing okay, but the behavior's off. See how the others are all swimming down at the bottom, looking for food, displaying and stuff, and we've got that one just sitting up there, off by itself. That's not good. So I'm going to do some experiments. I'll start with flubendazole, because that's what helped the guppies, and see if we can't find something to patch that guy up. Batch has been looking great, and then today I just see what could be a real problem. So that's the kind of thing we look for. The females are looking really good. I don't see any issues on these, but if the males have something, odds are the females do too. So we might do a little A/B test here, females and males, see what works, and treat both of them. Look at these though, like, oh, just real quick, I gotta appreciate these. I hope I can fix that one up. Look at these fins. Like, that is a high quality, good looking fish there. This breeder does such a good job. I'm glad we found them. Okay, moving on. Okay, it's a pretty busy shipping day here. We have some fish that need to go out tomorrow. So while the crew is packing up the fish and plants and snails and shrimp and stuff that need to go out later today, I'm pulling fish, getting them prepped for the shipping tomorrow. Here's my cart, and we've got, this is kind of the first round. Let's see, what's that? That's a little pea puffer, neon yellow calico platy. I have several more to pull. This is my my pull sheet, so I will get on that and pull the rest of these fish so that we have stuff to send out all prepped tomorrow. So for those that don't know, it takes us 2 days to prepare fish for shipping. Day one, we put them in these bags. That way they fast, they can clean out their stomachs and their intestines. And then the next day we change the water, we seal them up, we put them in the boxes, and we send them to you. So today's day one, just pulling the fish. Okay, the next fish that I need to bag are these white clouds. So we have a procedure we follow here. The first thing we do is, before we open the lid on the tank or disturb the fish in any way, we just watch them. Are they swimming normally? Is this what we'd expect a white cloud to be like? Are the fish they're in with swimming normally? These are Rhamnocentris ornatus from Tewa Creek. Everyone looks good to me. Are there any problems on these sticky notes? No. The rads been rock solid for months, and we lost 2 white clouds when they first came in several weeks ago, and haven't had any problems since then. So everyone's looking good. There's no history of problems in this tank. So I'm going to go ahead and catch them, and let me show you how we do that. Okay, now that we've checked the fish's health and we know they're in good shape, we open the lid. You might notice we have several sizes of nets on the tank. Each tank gets its own nets. And the reason for that is we don't want to be, different nets have different uses. These big nets, a great use is just a nice slow scoop here of these white clouds. So I can get some, they're contained in here now. I don't have to thrash all over the tank. Then I take this small white net, and if I put it behind the fish, I can easily see their fins, I can see through the fins, so I can see if there's anything bad on the fins. I can check the fish's health because it pops against that white net. So it allows me to just go through and select fish one at a time. That's a nice looking male. So I make sure that the customer is getting good fish, and I'm not freaking the fish out. I'm not thrashing around in the tank, chasing him back and forth and back and forth. I'm shooting fish in a barrel. Oh, I should tell you about the slippy slide. When we put them in the bag, you might have noticed I'm not just dropping them straight down in the bag. I'm taking the bag, I'm putting it to the side, and then I'm letting the fish go. And what happens then is instead of the fish falling straight down and smacking the bottom of the bag and maybe hitting its face, if you put the bag to the side of it and then let the fish slide down, it's a slippy slide. So it's not falling straight, it's kind of slowly going down into the water so it doesn't injure its face. A nice white cloud mountain minnow, long finned, looks really healthy. I think those will make the customer happy. Okay, now it's time to feed some fish. So here's what we got. We have in this fridge right here, we have baby brine shrimp. We have rapashi with oyster shell in it for puffers to trim down their beaks. And we have adult brine shrimp. We have zucchini. And then I'm thawing out a container of bloodworms here. Oh, and we're always hatching out baby brine shrimp. That's just a daily thing. So while I'm waiting for those bloodworms to thaw, I'm going to go around and feed some dry foods to some of the fish. Some of the fish we want to give frozen or live. Some we rotate in dry foods, pellets and flakes and stuff. Just depends. Couple other things, I guess. We've also got some Bacter AE in there. We find that works well with shrimp and with Autosynclets and other fish that graze a lot. And this is a freeze-dried copepods. So that, and then some various pellets and flakes and things, some veggies, some protein. And yeah, time to feed a whole lot of fish. So what I was watching there are some pencil fish. These are coral red pencils. I've been training them to flakes. So just watching to see if they're eating flakes yet. And it looks like most of them are. So they're transitioning from live and frozen. And I have seen them actually eat and keep down flake. Not all of them are yet, but about half of them. So that's good. That's progress. We want to make it so the fish we sell you are already eating aquarium foods. That makes it a lot easier. And they're well on their way. Okay, while going about my feeding rounds, I discovered something kind of cool to show you. See if he's still out. So this is a baby corydoras carle. And there's his parent in the back, one of his parents in the back there. So we've got a group here. These are carle and sipalowini. The sipalowini are the ones with kind of the dark horizontal stripe down the body and the black in the dorsal fin. And the carle are the smaller ones. They're one of the more dwarf species that are kind of the mottled color back there. And we've got this baby, and I've seen at least one more baby. I'm sure there's more in this mop. But yeah, we're not trying to spawn them, but every now and then when you feed fish, babies appear. Feed them good, babies appear. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. By the way, these are two awesome species of corydoras, the sipalowini and the carle. The carle come from Argentina. I did my master's thesis when I was a student on Argentina, and so I spent a lot of time researching that. I've spent a lot of time in Argentina. I like that country a lot. So it's kind of cool for me to see carle, fish that comes from there. And then the sipalowini is just an interesting fish. I like the pattern on them. Neither of these are common. They're both, I would say, pretty difficult to find in this hobby. But we've got them, and wee little babies. Sometimes you find cool surprises when you're working around the fish room. It's a good life. All right, I want to show you these big cichlids. These are red hump geophagus. A really hardy, simple, colorful, neatly shaped geophagus. If you've never tried geophagus, this is an excellent one to start with. And this shows you how peaceful most geophagus are. They've been in here with these platies for weeks and they haven't harmed the platies at all. Geophagus are pretty good community fish. And the reason I want to show you is they've had babies. Check them out. So these are their babies. They're about an inch and a quarter now. Nice batch. And that was the breeding group that I just showed you. They're in here with some mollies that we raised. We had a big drop of mollies, so why not throw them in the tank and raise them up, right? But anyway, there you are. Bunch of baby red hump earth eaters, red hump geophagus, along with some mollies. Just thought that was fun. Every now and then we get to breed some fish here, and it's a good time. Now, I know this isn't like a massive breeding accomplishment or anything. It's not like red hump earth eaters are hard to breed. As my friend says, they'll breed in the bag. I get that, but it's still fun. Well, everybody, it's now Thursday. Up till now, we were looking at Tuesday. Skip ahead 2 days. It is now Thursday. We had one of our team members out sick, so I had to pinch hit for that. So got a little busy and couldn't do the vlog those days, but now it's time for me to get to feeding today, and it is brine shrimp day. So I've thawed a whole bunch of frozen brine shrimp. I'm gonna go around and feed that out, and then I'll catch back up with you. So what do you do with floaties? So you all know what I'm talking about, that layer of frozen food that goes to the top and for some reason just wants to float. What I do is I suck up those floaties, I give them to half beaks. Some of them will sink. Oh, there's the camera. Some of them will sink, but enough of them will float for long enough that the half beaks can get some nice food out of that. Just to give them a break from flake food. They'll eat flakes just fine, but you want to give them something more enjoyable every now and then. And if you have fruit fly cultures, man, they will think you are amazing. They love fruit flies, crickets, that kind of thing for fun as well. I can give them a spot more and then I'll move on. Now, it might surprise some of you that I would feed frozen brine shrimp to Tropheus. Tropheus are notorious for bloating if they get too much protein and fat, and they need a veggie-heavy diet. But I've never had an issue with Tropheus bloating if I give them brine shrimp occasionally. I think it's a good supplement for their diet, and it's got so much roughage in it that it passes through without bloat issues. So I do feed this on occasion, and never had a problem. Okay, here's the last tank to feed. This is Moanatinia sembrae. There's such a small amount of brine shrimp left that I had to strain it through a net because it was getting hard to get it with the turkey baster, and just put that net full of brine shrimp in there. So that's how I'm going to feed those guys. There's some Phoenix tetras and Moanatinia sembrae in there, enjoying their num-noms. Speaking of num-noms, look what we got. Look at this. This came today from Metal Fish. Don donuts! Metal Fish, that was awesome. What a great surprise. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I have two last things that I want to show you that I think are really cool, and then we'll wrap this vlog up. What do you say? So here's the first one. It's this. Just look at the bellies on these Autosynclets. Like, they are so fat and sassy. I love it. And this is how you make Autosynclets happy. I mean, we have zucchini in there, and we also give them extreme catfish scratchers, I think is what it's called. But then we'll also rotate in stuff. So we find, like, this plate was covered in algae in one of our other tanks. We took it, put it in here, and they love it. They'll get all over that, and they'll just, it's only been in there for a little while. You can already see all the bare patches. They've been at work getting all that algae off. So I'm really proud of our Autosynclets. This is one fish that I think we really do right. We get them really fat and happy before we send them out. And every now and then there's a problem. It's a fish that is not the easiest, but the problems are very rare. So I'm happy with how we do this. I think we get people good Autosynclets. The other thing I want to show you is this. I told you that these were fertile, this strain of hyphen, cauliflower, red-eyed red swordtails. And if we look in the world's scrawniest patch of Java moss here, you can see in it a batch of babies. So one of the females was dropping yesterday and today. There's a little baby right there. So yeah, they're definitely breeding. There's some blue dream shrimp in there too. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. So we've started giving them baby brine shrimp yesterday, and the babies ate it just fine. Yeah, good little batch of these swordtails. Now I am noticing, looking at those babies, that I don't think they have albino eyes. So I'm not sure exactly what the sire was, but if he was a red-eyed red albino hyphen, then I think we would have albino eyes on the babies, but those look like normal eyes to me. So hopefully in a few months I can tell you. Hopefully we can answer that question. See how they do. So there's just a little taste of what it's like to be a fishmonger. Thanks for joining me on my little journey here. Never a dull moment. Sometimes there's dull moments. Anyway, before I leave you, I wanted to tell you this. Hey everyone, it's Dan. If you want to learn more about aquarium fish, we do a live stream every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Dan's Fish YouTube channel. If you're in the market for aquarium fish, check us out at dansfish.com. We ship to the US and parts of Canada. And if you want something fishy to wear, we've got merch. Till next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.